Howdy peeps, and welcome to what I believe is part 6 of the SU76 build. I've done a little bit since part 5, nothing build wise or over the top, and I'll talk you through what I've done right now. And yes, I have remembered to plug in the extra overhead light this time. So where do we get to? Well, what I've done, as I was saying in the last segment, is I have finished doing the washes on the interior. I've added some pigments to the floor. Very easy. Well, actually I'll show you how I did that in a mo. And put the majority of the shells in there. I have 4 more still to go in. I'll just pop them in on camera so you can see how I did it. Now, pigments on the floor. If I bring it up you might be able to see a bit better. There we go, just a bit of duck and must and muck, dust and muck, something like that. Anyway, I'll put my teeth in at some point. And the rest of it, as I say, I just finished off the bits we were doing in the last part. Now, pigments, I'm going to grab a paint mule for this. Excuse the noise. Manky old, we'll do it that way up because the other side is all silver and it will white out badly. It's an old Airfix 172 JU88. Kit's older than I am. I took it out of the box, took one look at it and went, yeah, I'm not building that. So just a burnt umber pigment. It's a kind of muddy colour. Pop the lid off. And I have a brush, which if I hold it up nice and close you'll see, yeah, it's a bent brush, but that doesn't make any difference. But I've trimmed the bristles off fairly short and stiff, and that's basically my pigment brush. And all we do is dip in the pigments, pick some up, pop them on the model and just start working them into the paint, either dabbing, bit of brushing them around, basically just doing that, and blow off the excess. As you can see, we have a muddy patch. It's not the most precise or accurate technique in the world, but for where this is in the floor of an open top fighting vehicle where you're barely going to see it, it's enough to give the impression that it's not all clean and shiny in there. It's a bit dirty and manky, as these things would get. So what was next on the list? As we can see, we've got the majority of the shells in on both sides. Those ones were a bit of a pig, but a pair of tweezers soon got them in. So I'll grab the other 4 from the block of florist foam. Ooh. And these have just been painted, as I said, primed in black, gloss black, a couple of coats of the Citadel Skull Crusher brass, and painted the tips in, I think I actually used RAF green, just to make it a little different shade from the rest of the interior. Now, because we super glued these, they will snap off quite easily, he says, hoping. Now, remembering to pop the bits of cocktail stick back into the florist foam so we don't stab ourselves on them or stand on them or anything. And we'll just grab our sander. Again, give it a quick wipe off on my jeans, or shorts in this case, because it's still not cold enough for me to be wearing trousers or jeans, especially indoors. Now we just give them a quick rub on the sander to get rid of any remaining super glue on the bottom. So we've got a nice clean surface to glue on. That'll do. Now, will I be able to reach with the brush? Yeah, I can. And if it is a little bit, plenty of glue in the base of where the shell fits. I will, where'd they go, tweezers, there we go. And I try not to get my hands in the way here, but it's going to be tricky. Hold it at an angle might help. Pop it in the bottom. Make it, there is a little hole in the shell rack for the pin, and we just repeat until all 4 of them are in. Well, until all the shells are in this case. Go on, stand up, you know you want to. There we go. Just a little bit of the most of the glue in the hole, and a little bit just around the back to hold it in place. Oh. Oh, it's around there somewhere. There it is. Again, just so I don't spooge glue everywhere. Get rid of the worst of it into the hole that the next shell's going to go into. Run a bit in behind. Grab the final one in the tweezers and... oh, don't be a pig. Last one, the last one's going to be a pig. But it's alive. If you do that, be careful, because otherwise if you've got glue on your fingers it will take the paint straight off, because it hasn't been varnished or anything, it is just paint. Where's that hole? There it is, near enough. Add a bit more around the bottom because it's probably dried up a bit. And a bit round there. So, that's all our shells in. What was next for the destructions? Oh, we let that glue go off. It won't be needing the gun barrel for a while yet, although I did give that seam a quick sand down. It could do with a little more, I think. So I just give that another. Try not to sand my fingernails off in the process. I need something a bit more aggressive. There's still quite a bit left. I didn't want to sand it too much because glue was still a bit soft when I was doing it last time. So there we go, seam go bye bye. And a quick polish up. There we go. So we can pop that back in the box as we won't need it for a while. Now we're going to have to go back quite a way through the instructions, I believe. Back to step 13, which is, well, step 13 and 14 is putting the back and the other side on. So I'm going to be annoying and awkward and do it the wrong way around, because test fitting I found this worked quite well. See, it's a pretty much spot on perfect fit. There's nothing much going to cause any trouble. Plenty of glue because it's a big old bit of plastic to be holding on. All the way around the seams. Oh, there's my leg bashing into the camera, quite possibly. So just aim that up and then drop this one. straight into place there. And up along the front edge, along the bottom, close enough. There is a little bit of a gap around this section, but that's where the radiator and exhaust goes, so we won't see that once it's built. He says hopefully. If not, we can fill it as we need to, and a little bit up there. So that's the back and the side glued on. Hopefully I did it all in shot. We've already done the tools and the A3s and the front and the top plates. We've also put all the wheels together. So now I'll put that to one side and grab off a bunch of A16s by the looks of things for the trailing arms. Find the right sprues. There we go. What do we need for each side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. There's probably 6 on each sprue. Yes, there are. Yeah. I was thinking this morning while I was sat there having my early morning let's say ablutions. I was thinking about mojo and when people lose it, what might cause it. And it occurred to me, I tend not to get much in the way of mojo slumps. And that's because, I think that's because I build a lot of different subjects, genres and styles. I'm not, you know, people think of me as a Russian tank guy, and that's not far from the truth. I do enjoy my Russian armour, hence why I'm doing this. But I also build other kinds of armour, planes, figures, sci-fi, all sorts. I mean, recent finishes, I've got a King Target. Yes, King Tiger, but I call it King Target, sat here. Got a Bandai Snow Speeder on the go. I've got a Gundam I just finished. And last night I assembled a Games Workshop Vermin Lord. Honking Great Rat Demon, if you don't know what one of those is. So I break it up and I'm doing different things. As I suppose if you're building the same things, so if you just build cars or... And I'm not knocking anyone here because, you know, it's your hobby, you do it and build whatever you want. If you want to build 15th scale farm animals out of Play-Doh and lollipop sticks, go for it. If that's what floats your boat and you enjoy, you know. But I think having a change up of different kinds of models, different genres, means you're always learning. You're always doing something different. I mean, sure, the basic skills, you know, sacks and cutting off your parts, cleaning them up, sticking them on, filling a gap, they all transfer directly over from one style of model to another. And, you know, basic airbrushing or detail painting does as well. But if you're usually building tanks, then you build a plane, you've got clear canopies to deal with, cockpit, hundreds and thousands of decals. So that's another skill that you pick up and it'll transfer back. You get better at putting decals on planes, you'll get better at doing it on armour. Same with cars. You get, you need a really good clean smooth paint finish and then the gloss coat over the top. But that just teaches you better practice and how to spray better with an airbrush. You know, all these skills transfer back and forth. For example, and then building figures or large scale minis, whatever. Maybe the blending and all the various brushwork might not be too apparent that you'd be using it, but it will come in useful. It's brush control. And when you come to paint your details on your next tank or whatever, you will have better brush control. Right, which way do these go? Well, it's obviously that way. Yep, that'll do. So, yeah, all the skill transfer, and by switching it up you don't get bored. You don't lose mojo. You still enjoy your modelling. Well, that's my theory anyway. And as I always say, if in doubt, break out a Bandai kit. It's always a good idea to have one or two in the stash for either when you fancy building something but you've not got much time or not got the inclination to glue everything together and paint everything. You can just chuck them together out of the box and they still look cool. And heck, the Gundam I just did, I used all these stickers. It's in bare plastic and stickers. It's not even, you know, painted or decaled. It still looks cool. You know, looks a little toy-like, obviously, but you know. Kept me occupied for a good few hours and was fun and enjoyable. What more do you want? Also a fairly cheap kit as well, which helps. You can't always be building, you know, 30, 40, 50, 60 pound kits, or whichever flavour of money is your local currency. Again, that's partly down to the speed you build and the speed I build. I say doing this build series is, I would have finished this a long time ago. You know, it's just, I would probably have got to the point where I had it ready for the interior paint in a day, got the interior all painted the next day. The day after that, probably finished building it. You know, probably talking week and a half, maybe 2 weeks to finish it. And also having other models on the go at the same time, so it wouldn't just be working on the one model. So for me at least, that's why I have a stash. And why I tend not to build the simpler kits. Yes, this is a fairly simple, it's a Tamiya armour kit. It's only a few hundred parts. But you know, if it was something larger or more complex, it would take me longer, and therefore I'd get more money's worth out of it. If I'm building something and it takes me 3 or 4 days to do, the amount of kits I would go through would be unreal. That's sprue A, we want sprue C, don't we? Which is the one that's still got quite a lot of bits on. Right, there we go. 9 and 10, they're going to be down this side. And saying that about having a stash, my stash isn't exactly huge, it's only, I say only, but it's 40 odd models. But they're 40 odd models that I will build, and most of them are fairly complex or sizable. I mean, and always, well, not always, you know, but don't forget to keep an eye on Amazon, because you'll find things sometimes on there. Yeah, most of the time on there they're either the normal standard price you pay anywhere else, or considerably more, depending on what's going on. But sometimes, you know, especially Amazon Prime, you can pick up really good deals. Say the Gundam I got was reduced from about 35 down to 18 or something stupid. And the Tacom Kraz, the tank transporter with the T55 on the back, I got for a good price. Same with the main Cougar 6x6M wrap. Oh, heck, I got the resin wheel set for that for £12 off Amazon Prime, so you know, you can't go wrong there. Something that's normally 20 odd. 12, 20, 6s and 7s. Ooh. Hang on. They're going to be on the others, so 12. That'll be the idler. And 20. Those will be the idler mounts at least. Let's try to do it in shot. Ooh. So the other thing to remember with modelling is there are very few absolutes. And by that I mean there's very few you have to do it this ways, you have to use this product. You can do whatever works for you, but just because it works for you it doesn't mean it will work for everyone else. You know, Future is the one there. Loads of people swear by it. I've had it mess up a couple of models, so I didn't swear at it. Now, you spent hours or whatever building and then painting a model. You spray your clear coat on your Future and something goes wrong with it, which it does do with alarming alacrity and regularity. No, it's a killer. You've got two choices. You either completely strip that model and restart painting it again, or do you bin it? It's all well and good trying, saving a few pennies or a few pounds here and there on certain products, and there are places where it can be a good idea and work. I forgot to cut the other one of those off, didn't I? I hope, yeah, I did. Either that or I dropped it on the floor somewhere. But things like paints, given the cost of paint and how long a bottle generally lasts, it's not really something you need to be saving money on. Or, well, let's say, bringing back the Future, I tend to use Alclad Aqua Gloss, and what am I? I'm about a fifth of the way through my second bottle, and that's after 2 years. So it might be £6 or £7 a bottle, but it lasts a long time. Oh, nearly dropped it. So these go in that way. I guess. It's showing that point in that direction. It's not the most secure of attachments, but we'll go with it. So same with airbrushes. Sometimes people will say, I'm new, I want to get an airbrush, what should I get? Go with what you can afford. You don't need to go out and buy a custom Micron or you know, heck, even I want a HPC Plus. Very nice airbrush, but you don't need it to start out with. It's so you'll probably hear at some point when I do start doing some airbrushing on camera. I've got one of those AS186, is it, compressors that you get from Fleabay or Amazon or whatever. They're about 80 quid and they come with a couple of cheapy little airbrushes. Yeah, it's no great shakes. It's noisy. It's not like the greatest thing ever, but it compresses air and blows it out the other end. You know, it's when that dies, which it's quite close to, I think. As I said, I've had it a couple of 2.5 years now, I think, and with me using it, that does equate to a lot of wear. Now these, oh, we only needed one of each, so we pop that one in. I can't see us needing any more of these as we go through the build, but we'll pop them back in the box anyway. Just to be sure we got them. I will just clean off the back of that after the issues with the one falling out on the front. Oh, how are we doing on time? Oh, nearly there. Getting up towards half an hour. So pop that in. That's that. So we've put all the wheels together. We've got all those on, and that on. Just C13 and that page will be finished. So I'll chuck those two little parts back in the box. Ooby-dooby-doo. 11, 12, 13, there it is. Looks like some kind of boot scraper or something. Oh, yeah, sorry, just bashing the camera with my leg again. Right. I've got a horrible feeling the next step's going to be tracks. In which case I'll leave that for another video. Because that will probably just be a half-hour video on putting the tracks together. And what I'll do is I'll put one set together and then, so I know how they go together and work, and then I'll do the other set on camera. Right. So this is going that way. Alrighty ho. Spooge. Pop into place. And a little bit of glue on that one as well. Just keep it in. Right. Let's turn this over and see where we're at. I think we won't be putting the wheels on yet. And yes, it was the tracks. Oh dear. But as we can see, we have a jig. Oh, nearly knocked the glue over. And telling us exactly how many links, etc. to put together. So what I will do is I will put together one set so I know how they go in together, and then I will chop off all the other links and probably count them out into the requisite little piles, and see if we can't get a set of tracks together in an episode. And after that we're on to the rest of the various bits that tie up the rest of the main superstructure, then the gun, more of the gun, putting the gun in, and a few little finishing touches. So, do I do the crew? Do I do the crew? I think I might do. We'll see. But anyway, hope you're enjoying what I'm doing here. If you've got any comments or things you'd like me to do differently, anything you'd like me to explain that I'm doing, pop in the comments below. Again, if you like what you're seeing, click like. If you don't, click dislike, but tell me why. If you really like it, you can subscribe, which is great because, you know, more subscribers. Woohoo! Yeah, right. But anyway, enjoy your modelling. Rock on. Peace out. Have fun and bye bye.